What if you could write cold emails so good that people had to respond to you? Today I'm going to show you 3 variations of the same cold email to show you how to create powerful hook variations that allow you to stand out in a crowded inbox and compel your prospects to read your entire message and respond to you. Because I think there's a lot of great content out there about how to create really great offers or all the different ways that you can use call to actions to make it lower barrier and easier for your prospect to respond. But there isn't a lot of content out there about how to create really super juicy and creative hooks. Everybody out there right now is using quick question first name, and it's saturated out. It's no longer as effective. And that's important because the hook is arguably one of the most important pieces of your cold email, because it doesn't matter how good your offer is or what kind of call to action, conversational ending you have to your cold email. If no one's opening the email and really reading it and you're not breaking your prospect's pattern in their inbox, then nothing else really matters. They're either gonna just skip over your email altogether and throw it in spam, or they're gonna bucket you in with more of the same because you're using the exact same tactics and templates as everybody else. So today I'm gonna show you some creative ways to stand out with your hooks and really draw your prospect and your reader in to your email. And the way that I'm gonna show you this is, one, we'll start with just a baseline email. From there, we'll change the email and use our storyline injection hook. And then finally, we'll change it again with another hook that we call our poem hook. So let's dive in. For the baseline email, what I'm gonna use is what we call our jobs observation cold email framework. And the framework looks like this. First, we make an observation of a problem that we can solve for our prospect from one of the job postings that they have for a hire that they're doing at their company. Next, we'll expand on the implications of that problem that we observed. And then finally, we'll close the email out with a soft interest-based call to action, where we're essentially just seeing if they'd be interested in learning more about how we can potentially help them solve that specific problem. So an example of how we've used this internally for some of our campaigns is we will target companies that are hiring for account executives, and then in the job posting for that role, it says that they expect the AE to do prospecting or manage the full sales cycle from lead to close. And if you think about it from a business owner's perspective, that business owner or the director of sales who's going to be overseeing that account executive, they would much rather have that person focus more of their time on sales calls, closing deals, generating revenue, as opposed to being focused on top of funnel prospecting activities. And so that's the angle that we take in this email here, and it sounds like this. First, we have the subject line, and we're gonna say, "Is this okay?" Question mark. So we're opening a loop, and let's pretend our prospect's name is John. We'll say, "John, I saw that you're hiring for an account executive, and you expect them to focus on prospecting new leads at auto dealerships. I bet in an ideal world, you wouldn't have them waste time and money on top of funnel activities. That way, they can stay focused on closing more deals. If that's the case, we might be able to help. Is it okay if I send you a breakdown of what I was thinking for a company name? Thanks, Sky." So okay, why does this work? Well, first, 99% of people who reach out based on some job posting, they don't actually reference anything specific from the job posting. Typically, they'll just say something like, "Hey, John, saw you're hiring for an account executive. I bet that means you're thinking about blah, blah, and blah." Instead of being able to be like, "I know that you expect this person to do X, Y, and Z," because it literally says that in the job posting for the role. So already by just referencing that very specific information from the posting and tying it back to the value prop for your product or your service, you're already standing out because you're showing that you did more research than just about everybody else who's gonna cold email this person. And because of that specific research, you're able to make a much stronger business case for why they should meet with you. Another thing to notice here about this email is that I'm not really pitching my service. All I'm doing is I'm highlighting a problem that I know they have, and I'm saying that I can potentially help them solve it. So I'm just piquing some interest. Then finally, after piquing their interest, instead of going straight for the meeting, we have a very low barrier, soft call to action that makes it easier for your prospect to just raise their hand, say that they're interested without yet having to commit to a meeting. Now, if you're thinking, "Sky, I don't have time to read through hundreds of job postings to like manually personalize and run an email campaign like this," like, "Hey, it sounds good, but I don't have time time to do this kind of prospecting. I have a million other things to do. I made another video that breaks down exactly how to automate all of the research so you can identify the companies that actually talk about a problem that you can solve with your product or service, but also how to automate all of the actual personalization and email writing using web scraping and AI. So if you want to check out that video too, I'll link to that video for you so you can watch that after you hop off this video. Now let's change this baseline email by using what we call our storyline injection hook. Now what's really great about this hook is that it's so versatile. You can just plug and play with this hook on just about any other email template or framework that you have. Okay, so let's start by pulling back up the baseline email that we just wrote together. So okay, we're gonna take this email and all we're gonna do is we're gonna change the subject line, the first line of the email, and we're gonna add a personalized image. So first, let's erase that subject line and change it to John, -- you're on my fridge. Hey John, I've been meaning to email you, .. I literally wrote your name down on my fridge. ! And then what we're gonna add here is a personalized image where it's me standing in front of my fridge and I've got a note on there and there's a to-do list. And as you can see on the to-do list, it says walk pup, empty dishwasher, meal prep, email, first name, last name. So these are dynamic fields that are injected over top of this image so I can pretty much automate and personalize this kind of image at scale to all of my prospects. And now below the image, as you can see, we have the exact same copy from our baseline email from before. So we really didn't have to change anything else here. It all is the same. And all we did is we just changed it to have a more creative and fun hook. So okay, why does this work? Think about what the prospect is gonna see in their inbox even before they open the email. First, they're gonna see, John, you're on my fridge, but they're already like, what in the world is this? And then they're gonna see the preview text or the first line of the email, and it's gonna be like, hey John, I've been meaning to email you. I literally wrote your name down on my fridge. If they can see even just part of it or the whole thing, it's such a weird thing to get in your inbox, and it opens such a powerful loop. It creates so much curiosity that they have to click into this email to see what it's about, and then they open it, and they have this picture of me, some random guy that they don't know, pointing at his fridge, and their actual name is in handwriting font on their fridge. And at this point, they have to read the entire email. We've broken the pattern. They're not thinking that this is just any other same quick question cold email that they might get. They're super curious. They're gonna read the whole thing, and that's exactly what we want our prospect to do. On top of that, it's kind of cheeky and funny, and people are gonna read it, and they're very likely gonna laugh, or they're gonna engage back with you in a fun way. Now, there are so many applications to this principle or this type of hook. If you want more examples of how to use this in different scenarios with different copy, I made another video that goes into more depth about how I use this framework to book over 700 sales calls, and I'll link to it for you as well. Okay, now we're gonna change the email one more time. We're gonna use a completely different hook, and we call it our poem hook. And again, I also really like this one because of how versatile it is. You can just plug and play with these creative and strong hooks with any other email framework or template that you have to make it pop and just hit that much harder. Okay, so let's pull up the baseline email that we wrote together in the first part again, and all we're gonna do here is we're gonna change the subject line and the first couple lines of the email. So, okay, let's get rid of that subject line, and now we're gonna change it to special poem for John. And then we're gonna jump straight into the email. We're not gonna do, hey, first name or anything like that. We're just gonna go right into our poem here. We're gonna say roses are red, violets are blue. I'd like to share some ideas with you, .. And now, as you can see, the rest of the email, again, it is all the same. So all we did is we changed the hook. Okay, why does this work? It's pretty much all the same reasons from the one that we just went over, the storyline injection hook. Think about what your prospect is gonna get in their inbox. They're gonna see special poem for Sally, special poem for John, and then it's gonna go into this like corny poem, and they're gonna be like, what in the world is this? Who wrote a special poem to me? What even is a special poem? And at that point, it's opening a loop, it's creating curiosity, and they're gonna have to click into the email to read it and find out what this is all about. And it's gonna break the pattern in the inbox, and you're not gonna bucket and be found or looked at as more of the same. Now, I know we really only looked at these hooks applied to one singular cold email framework. We could sit here all day playing with different variations of these, but I gotta make this video short and consumable for you. So if you want more examples of how we've applied these different hooks to different use cases, selling into different industries for different products or services, I'm more than happy to send you some other examples of how we've used this. So if you want some help or you want some other examples, just reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. There's a link to my LinkedIn profile in the description down below. Shoot me a connection request, send me a message if you're like, hey Sky, can you share some examples of other ways that you've used the poem hook or the storyline injection framework? Whatever it is that you need, if you want to share your copy with me, I'm more than happy to take a look at it and give you some suggestions. Just let me know. I'm more than happy to help you. But that is all I got for today. If you found this video valuable, please hit the like and subscribe button below. It helps the channel out a lot. But outside of that, I wish you the best of luck, and I will see you on the next video.